Women's sports. They're everywhere. Female athletes compete in Little League sports, high school sports, college sports, professional sports, and at the highest level, the Olympics. They compete against each other. But what would happen if a man invaded these female ranks? How would it look if these women were forced to compete with...
Juwanna Man? Juwanna Man.
Juwanna Man.
Yes, Juwanna Man.
Meet our new ladybug, Martha.
Yeah, you thought it would only be in the movies, where men pretended to be women and dominated the league.
Chester put a boy on a girls' soccer team.
That couldn't happen in real life, right?
Two transgender high school runners, well, they're kicking up dust in Connecticut, taking the top spots at the state girls' championship.
Well, welcome to 2019.
I'm here.
A biological male who identifies as a transgender woman won the Women's World Championship cycling event.
Since this movie plot is no longer just a joke and has become an unfortunate reality for female athletes, the question becomes, is this okay? You have males competing in female sports.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem? I mean, equal rights, right?
Sure, it's a problem because they're males and it's female sports.
The Heritage Foundation brought this issue to the forefront at an event this week when they addressed new gender identity policies that would put women at a disadvantage. Now, this event specifically addressed sports where biological men who identified as women could compete against biological women. What is the biggest danger of males entering female sports?
The biggest danger? Well, the biggest danger is there's not really going to be much left of women's sports.
This is Madeline Cairns, a journalist who desires to bring awareness to this issue.
Some of our best athletes won't even make it on the track. They won't even qualify.
Basically, I trained for several years to gain the courage to compete in a powerlifting event, and it was protested by men because they were not allowed to compete as women.
This is Beth Stelzer, an amateur powerlifter who has seen her sport infiltrated by this guy.
It's basically devastating. The work put into powerlifting can be grueling. And I think for a woman, the stresses of family life and just the disadvantages we have at gaining muscle mass, we have to work so much harder. So for me to work for years dreaming of this event, for it to basically be ruined, devastating is the only word that I can think of.
Now, the Heritage Foundation says, quote, "A fair playing field must acknowledge the enduring biological differences between males and females. Gender identity policies ignore this fact and so erase the unique talents and achievements of girls and women." End quote. So what's the problem here? Well, Democrats are trying to pass the Equality Act, which in part would force federally funded organizations to adhere to someone's gender identity. Now, the claim is the Equality Act would replace Title IX, which, as the Heritage Foundation states, quote, "was created in order to ensure that women had access to equal opportunities as men, including in sports," end quote. So basically, now women have these equal opportunities. But if the Equality Act passes, these opportunities could be diminished by men who think they're women.
So that basically means everything from all women's spaces and shelters, women's shelters, sporting facilities, public schools, whatever, all have to consider men who identify as women, legally, under law.
I'm very scared of what could happen in high school athletics. I worry for our girls. They need these opportunities. For Title IX to be threatened by the Equality Act, it's absurd to me. We have fought so hard for the spaces that we have. For them to be given up to biological men, it hurts my heart.
What are the biggest dangers that women can face? Girls, women, what are the biggest dangers they can face if men continue to invade the sport?
So if we open the floodgate and allow biological men to compete as women, we are going to see girls being intimidated. They will not want to compete anymore if they're not allowed to win. It's been shown that the transgender athletes that are competing are dominating and they are taking away girls' opportunities. Not only that, but they're forced to share their locker rooms with them.
A lot of people who are maybe confused on the issue think that now if they speak out against it, they're the equivalent of a racist. You're transphobic, you're a bigot, and you're right up there with the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, and why can't these people see logic or reality? Is there...
Never underestimate the power that ideology has on the human mind. And I just think the whole thing is getting really out of control. And I know I'm not a bigot. I know I don't harbor ill will against anybody. And I know that I've looked into this enough to like have the facts before me. And I think more people just need to have that attitude, frankly, and just say what's going on.
What's the biggest thing you want people to take away from this, or that you want people to know that they're not aware of?
I want people to be aware that no matter how insignificant you feel, you have a voice, and that voice makes a difference, and you cannot allow bullies to hold you back.
Well, folks, I hope this video was informative for you. We know the media doesn't really cover these issues accurately, if they cover them at all. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll come back for more. Until next time, I'm Ferlin Webster Jr. with MRCTV.